on, let's go outside. Let's take a walk in the sun. There are things to learn and things to see. A big wide world for you, your dog, and me. Dog Talk. Hi everybody, welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Pat Becker. This is Tiffany English. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
And Trinket from this wonderful little Doxy Rescue. Always good to see you. Every season we have decided to specialize in featuring an artist because this is so important. All the artists in this state are just phenomenal, and I'd like to give them a chance to show this art. I am particularly interested, of course, in the dog art, and Tiffany does this so well.
Thank you.
I am so pleased. And you are actually at work at the Journal Record.
Yes.
And so you're a graphics designer there.
Yes.
So obviously you use your talent, but this to me is exemplary.
Thank you.
These little faces, the looks on their faces, you've captured the very soul of these dogs.
Oh, thank you.
And you are so good. I don't know how you do this. None of us who are artists know how you do this. But there are so many artists in this state who are good, and we are delighted to present them each time. You know, we have decided, you and I, I decided since you were so good, and you decided since you were so generous, to have something special for our viewers. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, we are going to have a contest for the viewers to submit their stories and photos of their rescued dogs that they've adopted, and if they want to email them to dogtalkpaintingcontest@gmail.com, then I'll pick one to paint, and then we'll bring them back on the show with the painting.
Especially a rescue dog. It must be a rescued dog, and we want to have all the story about the rescue dog. Tell us everything about your dog, and send us a picture, and then Tiffany will decide which dog is going to be celebrated that particular time, right? And we thank you so much for coming. You know, Trinket, how do they, if they want to adopt one of these dogs, what do they do?
They can go to our website. It's lowriderrescue.com, and you can view our available dogs and the applications on the website.
We appreciate it there again so much, and we'd like to give you a $500, thing for your dogs, for the rescue. We do this often, and this rescue is one that is special to my heart, and this $500 donation will be, I think, helpful to you.
It will,
so,
thank you.
Guys, think about it. Your dog is special, so send us a picture, send us the story, and Tiffany's going to make a wonderful portrait for you. You like that? I do too. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
While driving through Edmond the other day, I spotted a building I hadn't seen for a long time, Britton Feed and Seed. Now, I used to go to this place back in the 70s. I moved a little further out, and it wasn't as convenient, so I lost track. But I'll tell you what, it brought back a lot of great memories. And I have today with me Virginia Kramer. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
And you now own Britton Feed and Seed.
Right.
So tell me, as I say, I used to have horses, and I had dogs and cats and the whole thing, and Britton Feed and Seed was there close to me, and I could jump up there. People were just wonderful in there.
Thank you.
Everybody loves it, and I understand now that everybody still loves it.
Thank you very much.
So when did you take it? I know it was built, I think in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yes, even earlier than that. I'm not exactly sure of the date.
But it was the place to go.
Yes.
It was one of the few places where you could walk in your jeans and, just select food, and people were so great. And so tell me, how long have you had it now?
I bought it from the previous owner in 1998, and at the time it was a traditional feed store. Over the years we've moved into just dog food. mainly, and chicken food.
And chicken food.
Right.
And you had some things for dogs I noticed in there. I sent Susan Owen over, and she got a little preview of what was in there. And I said, you know, boy, it brings back memories. It really, really did. And you know what I decided to do, which I think would be really fun? I want you to find for me the oldest person who shops with you, who has shopped since the beginning at Britton Feed and Seed, and I'm going to give them a $100 gift certificate from Britton Feed and Seed.
Well, thank you. They will appreciate that.
Well, and I
so
would like to have
much.
them on the show. I'd like to talk to them. If it's a cowboy or somebody who, you know, feeds their horses or feeds their chickens or feeds their dogs, I would like to know. Can you do that?
I can do that. I've had people have been coming in for 20 plus years. We have just a real loyal customer base.
Oh, you absolutely do. And as I say, I just got almost teary-eyed because it brought back memories of my life when I shopped there.
Right. Well,
so do that. Will you do
I
that?
will.
And we'll
will.
bring that person on and talk to him about the days when he and I or she and I remember going to Britton Feed and Seed.
Great. Thank you. They will love that.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Imagine if you were this dog. Wouldn't you be confused by this man's action? What could this animal have done to deserve being abandoned? Left alone, vulnerable to traffic on roads and highways, exposed to harsh weather, the list of dangers for this dog is infinite. Please, if you can't keep your pet, call your local animal shelter and your local rescue for help. Find them on the internet or call information. And please, don't dump your pets. How fortunate we are today to have Carrie Irvin bring her dogs in, the Weimaraners from Heartland Weimaraner Rescue. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having us on.
Excellent. And you've got some helpers here, I see.
Yes.
Because these are large dogs and they are energetic.
Yes,
And
yes.
the Weims are wonderful. My Dog Talk girls have got some information and they wanted to ask some questions about Weims. Can we do
Perfect.
that?
Yeah.
What do you think, McKenna?
Awesome.
Yeah? You have a question?
I do. So, what if Weimaraner owners are not able to do interactive dog sports? What's another option?
You know, Weims are very active. They're very people-oriented. So anything that you're doing that's active, they like to be a part of. So it doesn't really even have to be sports. They like to hike and camp and swim. We do have a lot of adopters that will run with their Weims. So running is a big thing. We actually do our 5K event, you know, every year as part of that to kind of get the word out about them. But they are very energetic. There's not necessarily a particular thing that they do. You know, they were bred to hunt.
They like to interact and they like to be with their owners.
Exactly.
This breed came from Weimar, Germany, which is in that particular time that they were bred. They were actually bred for hunting. These dogs hunted deer, boar,
Yes, large game,
large game. And then, of course, the large game became a little bit less accessible. So they started hunting quail and they started hunting birds and that
Yes.
smaller animals. And the breed was actually, I think, in 1929 brought over here, and unfortunately people fell in love with the color
Yes.
and the size, and so they bred a little bit of the hunting out of them. They were more a conformation dog, but they'd never bred out the desire that these dogs had to be around people.
Oh, definitely
They do
not.
love people. And as you can see, they're very active. This
We're
one
wanting
wants
to
to play.
play.
Yes. So you had a question, Renee?
Yes, I've heard that Weimaraners are great family dogs, and since they're a medium-sized athletic dog, do they require training?
They do. They are very, very people-oriented. They make great family pets. They're great with kids and adults. You know, they like to be part of the family. We call them Velcro dogs because they like to follow you everywhere
They
you
really
go.
do. They really bond.
And they are smart. You know, we actually, right here on the top of their head, you can see a little bump, and we call that the smart bump. You know, they are very human-like, toddler-like almost in their interactions, and they like to...
they do need some basic,
Yes.
obviously some basic training. What do you think, McKenna? You have another question?
I do. So, what's the main cause of Weimaraners being in rescues?
Well, around here, the biggest reason is people fall in love with those floppy little ears when they're puppies, and they're just velvety and those bright blue eyes, and they don't fully understand what it takes to be a Weimaraner owner, just because they are so energetic and they like to be part of the family. They're definitely not one of those dogs that you can throw in the backyard and ask to be a guard dog or anything of that nature. So they get to be about this size, and then they're too much for the family, and they will release them over to the rescues.
I've heard that Weimaraners were bred for hunting, and I've heard they also have excelled in other various sports. Could you name a few?
Yeah, so they actually, since they don't hunt quite as frequently as they did for the larger games, they are more quail and bird dogs. They have webbed feet, so they're excellent swimmers, so they do actually do some dock trials and things like that. And then agility is one of the big things that we see. Weimaraner and Cowpoke over here is actually doing agility now. She's going to start some of those trials
very
pretty soon.
obedient to
Yes,
this
she
gentleman
is. You
here.
can tell she's a little more seasoned.
She's a little laid
These
back.
guys.
And I have seen them running in lure coursing events.
Oh,
so
yes,
this is
yes.
it's true too. So what, you have another question?
Yes, I do. So
You want to answer? Okay.
So what? Wait, what?
Well, if you think about it, and we'll get a question from Renee. What do you think, Renee?
Do they have any predispositions for health problems?
Overall, they're pretty healthy. They are deep-chested dogs. You can see in all of these guys. So bloat is always a concern. We do tend to feed multiple times throughout the day to kind of offset that. Hip dysplasia every now and again. And you got to clean their ears. These
Yeah,
big floppy ears.
exactly.
Keep those clean so that they don't have ear infections. But overall, they're pretty easy to take care of. And you watch for a few things and you're pretty good.
Excellent. So if we wanted to rescue one of these dogs, how do we reach you?
You can actually go out to our website. It's heartlandweimerescue.org. And you can fill out an adoption application. We're also on Facebook. You can find us there. We do a 5K event. It's called the Ghost Runners 5K. That's always an option to come out and meet them and kind of get an idea of what
Exactly.
you think. We typically do that in October, so be looking for that on
Yeah,
Facebook.
these are wonderful dogs, guys, and it does. You have to realize that as a dog of medium to large size, and some of these do, turn out to be a little larger than the medium-sized dogs. They require a lot of exercise.
They do.
So you don't get one of these dogs and throw them out in the backyard or bring them in and not without training, because it's very, very important. Give them the exercise, know what you're getting. Go to the rescue, see some of these, and I might add, if you really think you might but are not quite sure, foster one.
Yes, definitely.
Am I
We're
right?
always looking for volunteers to help with our events, and then also foster the dogs. So.
Foster the dogs, you'll get to know the dogs. If it is not right for your family or not a right fit, then you have the option of returning the dog, because these dogs are in demand because they're so sweet. They're so
They
neat.
are. They are.
Yeah, and we appreciate it so
Yeah,
much.
sure.
We
Thank
would
you
like
so
to
much.
make a $500 donation
that'd be fantastic.
to your
Yes, thank
organization.
you.
And thank you so much for bringing them out. You have been a very patient man. with a lovely little female dog here. She is just lovely. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
I recently heard about a lady who was being very formidable in one of our outlying areas called Norman, Oklahoma.
Maybe you've heard of it.
I think everybody's heard of it. There are really good things going on in Norman, Oklahoma right now. It has always been a great place to live, a great place to work. And now I am very, very interested because they had a very beautiful new shelter built for the dogs.
Yes.
And I heard about it. As a matter of fact, Janice Kramer went down and did some work down there, interviewing people and seeing the new shelter. And it's always amazing to me how people can find the funds to do that, because it is necessary. Updating is always necessary. Things change. We get more dogs in these shelters. It's sad but true. We'd all like to be put out of business, but there you go. It is perpetual. In perpetuity, I hope not, but maybe. Now, my mentioning this, and the reason that I did, is that sometimes it's not just the structure that's important, but the facilitators, the administrative part of it, and the follow-up, because there's more than just a building. Rebecca Bean, you are, as I say, this formidable person that I heard about, that they said, hey, this lady went before all of the people who have authority about these things, and she said, you know what? We need to think about this shelter. We need to think about what's going to be in it, how we're going to run it. I am so proud of you. It makes all of us women proud.
Thank you so much.
But you did the right thing, and I understand you have some very strong views about it. Tell me.
Well, I do. This all sort of came about a year ago. We rescued a pregnant mama dog from the Norman shelter. I saw it on the Volunteers for the Shelters page on Facebook, and I went in and said I'd like to foster this dog because she was due any minute, and her prospects and the prospects for her puppies in a shelter environment were not good, as we all know.
Very slim.
Very slim that any of them would make it out alive. So I said I'd like to foster this dog, and they said, well, we have no foster program. And I was shocked.
And you went, what?
What modern shelter in a wonderful town like Norman, Oklahoma doesn't have a foster program? So that's when it first came to my attention. I think people in Norman love their animals. Absolutely. And when they find out the state of our shelter, they're quite shocked. So that's how it came to my attention, and I realized that I needed to do whatever I could once we got those 11 puppies and the mama dog adopted into great homes to make the situation in Norman all that
So
could
tell
be.
me what you did, because I know there are a lot of people who want to be heard, a lot of women and men who want to make a difference.
Yes.
But to me, you're taking this step and moving forward with it proves that it is up to us. We need to take charge of these things.
Absolutely. And I'm a small business owner. I have a little shop in Norman. I didn't know anything about advocacy or about policy change or anything like that. That's not my area of expertise. But a few of us got together, and because of our heart for animals and because of our seeing a need, we just started. We just started where we could, and that was on Facebook.
So you got a group of women together, and men, I assume,
that's right.
together, and you went before what board?
Well, we really started by educating ourselves and getting the public support. And when the public found out, we started attending the Animal Shelter Oversight Committee meetings, which were at the time quarterly. And because of all of the public outcry, they made those meetings monthly. And so just starting by getting a Facebook group together and encouraging people to come to the meetings to learn, as we were all learning, that's how we got started.
Yeah. So what have you done then? Tell me.
We started out with 6 of the most life-saving initiatives that we could focus on. One of those initiatives, because when the new shelter was built, as you said, no new programs were put into place, no new staff was put into place. Even though the shelter was going to triple in size, we had no foster program. The volunteers had recently been ousted. So we were in a situation where there was no vet to check on these animals. The situation was quite dire, and so we started with the most life-saving initiatives, that being a vet, being open 6 days a week, forming a partnership with WildCare so that we could stop using our gas chamber on 100% of the wildlife that was coming through.
Now, whoa, back up a second. Are you telling me that the Norman Animal Shelter, this beautiful new facility, is using a gas chamber?
Well, they still have a gas chamber. We hope that they'll never have to use it again, because through our efforts, we were able to help get an initiative made so that Norman Animal Shelter would partner with WildCare. And WildCare is, as you know, a wonderful rehabilitation center.
Absolutely.
So there's no need for us to be euthanizing these animals, especially in a gas chamber, when WildCare is just down the street and can take in all of these animals for us.
Oh, absolutely, and it is a wonderful facility down there. So you have made such a big difference, you know, in the lives of the animals who will be coming into this shelter.
Well, it's been a group effort. I could never have done this alone. I would say for anyone who wants to get involved in this kind of work, partner with the right people who are going to put their egos aside and work for the same cause, for the same goal, and call in your experts. We, in December of last year, started a town hall meeting, and we were able to really glean from some experts in this field what are the most life-saving initiatives that we need to be focusing on.
You have done it. I applaud you. You know, gosh, it is just a wonderful, wonderful project for you, and that you could pull this off, as they say, amazes me, because everybody who is an animal animal advocate, especially, of course, my interest is in the dogs. Everyone strives for such, the power, the control. Exactly. So this is what we have to do. Folks, if you see it, let's do it. You know, let's make changes where changes are necessary. A lot of times, from the outside, a shelter may look beautiful, but what's going on the inside? How much are they doing for dogs? That's the good question, and we applaud you. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Pat.
And we are now going to toss this over to Janice and Ted, who have a very interesting project going.
Hi, everyone. This is our dog, Duke. And we decided to take a trip with Duke. And now some people hesitate on that. And you know, Duke's a big dog himself, okay? And some people think, well, I don't want to take my dog on my trip, or my dog's too big to take on a trip. Duke is not. So we took him out there. We had a good time, right?
Yes, we had a great time, as you'll see in the clip when we visited Canebrake. So we've taken Dog Talk on the road all the way to Wagner, Oklahoma, about a 2.5-hour drive from the metro. I am here with Lisa and Sam Bracken from Canebrake, and Wagner, Oklahoma, not that far of a drive, surprisingly, and it's kind of beautiful out here.
Thank you. We think so.
It's very beautiful. It looks like we're in the middle of nowhere. You see the lake behind us. We've got a beautiful meadow, and we've got dogs. Tell me about your dogs, Sam.
Well, here in the middle of somewhere nowhere, we've got 3 dogs. We have 3 rescued hounds. We have Louie, Pema, and Ranger, oldest to youngest. Lou has been with Lisa and I for about 12 years. We think he's about 14 or 15 years old. He came off the streets in Tulsa, literally. And Pema came to us as a readoption from a local vet. We've had Pema for about 8 years, and she's around 10 years old. Ranger came to us about 1.5 years ago. He is probably about 3. We don't really know, but he again came off the streets in Tulsa. So lots of rescued hound here.
Those are the best kinds.
They are. They really are. They're fantastic. They're fantastic.
They know it.
Exactly.
And they know.
Yeah.
They know they're second-hand and second-chance dogs.
They have the good life now, right?
Well, I mean,
they
you
do.
think?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
all this space. How big is this place we're at?
The Canebrake sits on about 150 acres of property.
And what's your overall vision? Because when I think of resorts, some people will think of, oh, something high-tech and upbeat, but this really brings you back to nature and brings you one with everything on every level. What's your vision for this place?
Well, pretty much that. That's our goal. We wanted to create a spot for people to check out once they check in, if you know what I mean. There's such a lack of space right now. Our society is so busy and crammed with to-do lists and must-do lists, and we wanted to provide a respite for adults and their dogs to just check out of the rat race for a night or 5 or 7 and just, you know, kind of get back down to central nervous system stability. And so often people will ask, well, what's there to do out there? You're in Wagner, Oklahoma. And pretty much my static answer is, how about as little as possible?
That's awesome.
How about just grab that book off of your nightstand that you've been trying to get through for the last 3 months and sit on your front porch and read it? Or how about turning the computer off for a day or 2? We are Wi-Fi here, but we really encourage people to, you know, just drop that for a few moments and find some space, not just like physical big space out here, breathing space, but space up here as well. Take a yoga class, get some space in your spine, you know, or space in your joints, but just space.
Exactly.
Just about
so you would think that that means, okay, so we're going to be roughing it in the woods, right? No. No, no, no. As you can see, the rooms that we've seen and we're staying in are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful from top to bottom. And you guys couldn't have thought of more. I'm thinking, okay, they must have left something out, right? The rooms are really nice, so the food must be bad.
Food's,
Not so much.
Food's marginal.
It's amazing. Tell us about the concept for the dining experience here.
Thank you. The food is fantastic, and that's because of the staff that Lisa and I have put into the kitchen. Matthew Owen, a young man from Oklahoma, recently came back. We lured him back from Hawaii this past January. I know, it's crazy. And Our philosophy here is we really walk the talk of farm to table. In fact, I'm kind of looking around the yard right now, which we haven't been able to mow, and I see sorrel and dandelion, and I'm thinking some salads for tomorrow's brunch. But that's how we roll. We have a couple of different gardens on the property. We work with some local farmers in, within about 75 miles of here. For proteins and greens and turnips and carrots and all these fantastic things. Oklahoma has an abundance of produce and proteins, cheese, dairy, all these cool things that are coming up all the time with these new markets, and we take full advantage of them. The kitchen takes full advantage of them. That's our style.
That's awesome. So we're covered in the room, we're covered, our bellies are kind of full now. But like Lisa said, you also get a yoga experience and a really spiritual experience here in the yoga barn, and that's a great space that we're looking at, and the classes are phenomenal that you guys have put together. Why did you decide to incorporate that in everything?
Actually, yoga is the first thing that we incorporated.
Really?
When we moved out here, I started teaching yoga right over there in the original horse barn. There's still stalls on either side of us. And it was an opportunity before we actually started the renovation to see, all right, will the community support this? I mean, because, a decade ago, yoga was not so much here in rural Oklahoma. And we got there was a lot of skepticism, of course, but believe it or not, the one class a week that I taught filled up. So then we added a second class in the barn. That's how it became known as the yoga barn. When we started the renovation, we renovated the carport, the 4-trailer carport first, to be the yoga studio, so that we could just move the classes that were currently going, just move them next door and continue on with the rest of the renovation.
From delicious food to the serene retreat, it's safe to say we had a great time at Canebrake. For the perfect family fun summer getaway, head up to Wagner to see Lisa and Sam. Tell them Duke from Dog Talk sent you.
This has been great, guys. What a wonderful trip. Duker looked like he had a great time. Did you guys enjoy yourselves?
Duke had fun.
It was very relaxed and easy and everything. See, guys, this is the thing to do. Take your dog with you traveling. You'll have fun. They'll have fun. It's a done deal. We'll see you next week.
Talking about dogs, talking about big dogs, talking about little dogs, oh yeah. Chasing the ball, chasing the cat, digging holes, thing like that. Dogs, talking about dogs. Laughing dogs, sad dogs, happy dogs, mad dogs, dogs, just talking about dogs. Lost and alone, running the street, checking the garbage, looking to eat. Out there sad and on their own, the law will get them if they got no home. Dogs, talk about dogs.